And welcome back to the Marching Arts Network. My name is Kanan, also known as the Tumor, because at one point in my life, I marched spot number B9. Joining me is, of course, somewhere.
The Stress Master. Master of
the
Stress.
Stress Master. And we are looking at now part 2 of our 3-part look at the, we're calling them the innovation years of the Bluecoats Drum and Bugle Corps. Who we feel that in 2015, 16, and 17 completely and utterly changed the game. And in this episode, we are going to be looking at, of course, the world champion 2016 Bluecoats and their show, which was called
Downside Up.
Downside Up. That's right. I was having a senior moment there for a second. Sorry.
I have those every minute of every day.
Absolutely.
My wife loves them.
Yeah, no, a really good show. Me and Justin are of slight disagreements on this show, and I actually think this show was a bit of a gifted championship. I don't think they should have won. I think it was a great show, but I don't think they should have won. But Justin, feel free to prove me wrong on this one. But if you missed the last episode, which was, of course, 2015 Bluecoats Kinetic Noise, I'm sure we'll have it up in a corner somewhere. Go back and watch that one. And so Justin, what have you got to say about all this malarkey?
I have to say that you're full of crap. They should have won. They were amazing. What they did, once again, innovatively, was they changed a couple things. One, very first time, I think maybe I don't know if somebody else had worn costumes, maybe, but they really went to the extreme with the costume. The only thing that's blue is the swirl that's on their uniform. But they completely said, well, we're done wearing our traditional style of uniform. Now we're going to a costume. And every year since then, they've never worn the Bluecoats jacket again.
No, I think it was they were the first corps to go full costume, as I recall.
But I mean, just visually,
and then everybody did it.
yeah. Visually, the stuff they're going to do in the show that you guys are going to see, if you haven't never seen this show before, I'm sure you have, is just out of this world. I mean, general effect wise, it's crazy good. It's just crazy good. They do stuff even audioly that is crazy good that you're going to hear at the very beginning of the show. But let's go and take a look at the repertoire. All right, so there's a lot of original, interesting music on here for Downside Up. Jose before John 5. I have never heard any of these songs before. Heat of the Day, Raga Raja, Uda Krep, Aku Broad, Great Gig in the Sky, Down Slide Up, and then Todo Tiende. So a lot of interesting music. They've really kind of taken that to like these independent artists, these artists that are doing like different stuff. Like this year, they're actually using music from somebody that was an alumni of the Bluecoats who has like this ska reggae type band, I think, if I've got it right. And they're going to be using music from that person's group this year in the show. So really champions of like that kind of like independent music, maybe music that you haven't necessarily heard of, but man, they really bring it on the field and make it really cool. Yeah. I gotta say.
Yeah. And looking overall, I mean, Downside Up, was it better than As Dreams Are Made On? I don't think so, but but again, looking at the scores, they're so close. Probably doesn't really matter. But looking at this, so I think that it's quite an interesting look, though, because you've got Santa Clara Vanguard starting to make their push to a championship with Force of Nature. That opener from their Force of Nature show is one of my all-time favorite openers ever of anybody. And I'm a person that generally finds Vanguard kind of boring, if I'm honest with you. But that Force of Nature show was beautiful. And then, of course, further down.
Great show.
What's that?
Propaganda, man. Cavaliers. Holy crap.
Yeah,
that was a
Cavaliers
great show.
Propaganda was a great show. Going further down, of course, we have our friends from the Academy with their one and only appearance in DCI finals with Drum Corps Bride. Beautiful show. Just a masterpiece of show design that was. That was how to get a corps into top 12, and they did it. And then, of course, the Boston Crusaders barely made the show with their show Quixotic, which was their kind. I think that was Boston Crusaders' 2019 Phantom Regiment wake-up call moment, in that that they realized that they needed to make some big changes. And when you looked at what Boston Crusaders did the next year, so yeah, I just thought it was overall an interesting year. But Bluecoats won it with Downside Up. And what I would say about the Bluecoats repertoire is that in 2016 Kids Grow Scouts, we also did Heat of the Day, and I absolutely hated that part of our show. So, but
interesting note. Look at the 12th place score, 84.8. That's really low. That's extremely low. I mean, look, Madison was in 13th in semis with an 85.2. So that means in semis they were higher in score. Probably like in the 85.5 range.
It's pretty common to have a drop at finals, though. But I mean,
well, what usually happens is the spread goes like this. It goes like this. So you're right. The lower is going to get lower. The higher get higher. Yeah.
What I find more interesting though is the gap between 11th and 12th. You don't usually see that.
Oh yeah, 1.3. That's a big gap. Yeah, and then 11th and 10th is really close.
Mile wide chasm. Anyway, let's look at the 2016 Bluecoats show, shall we?
Let's do it.
Performing their 2016 program, Downside Up. Drum Corps International is proud to present the Bluecoats.
I don't think a drum corps show's ever started with clapping.
No, it's. I did like this part. But again, this is building on what they did in 2015 with mic placement and amps on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think if anybody else did full core dancing like this before this as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think this was a new innovation as well that now everybody does.
I mean, they really went a different direction from 16 to 17.
Oh yeah.
I mean, 15 to 16, excuse me.
I do wonder how many alternates they carried that year because those slides just they screamed injuries to me.
Yeah. I mean, they've been doing this whole body visual stuff now ever since. I mean,
everybody does.
Yeah.
Great brass entrance there. But again, with that signature Bluecoats brass ensemble sound.
Yeah.
Started by a brass captain who called Derek Gibson, who worked with the company in the UK. And then obviously carried on by the current fellow there now.
Yeah. They just blew us out audioly. They just blew us out audioly. I couldn't hear a thing you just said.
I was saying that signature Bluecoats brass sound was kind of started by Derek Gibson and now carried on by Kevin LeBouf.
I mean, so the guard is wearing the same exact style as the horn line, just in a different color, which is fantastic. Look at the color contrast.
But they look brutal up close.
Yeah, but it's made for far away, though.
Now, what I will say is that the guard in those yellow on the ramps does contrast nicely.
Yep. I gotta say, man, this horn line sounds way better than the 15 horn line. I don't know if it's just the miking or the video, but to me it sounds a lot bigger. And not that they were bad in 15, it's just a different sound. It's like a brighter, bigger sound.
I think some of that's down to the writing as well, though.
Yeah, true.
I think melodically this is a more accessible show.
This part is so cool. I love this part.
Yeah, where they're interacting with the ramps. But even if you watch closely in some of these parts, so you'll see some serious wipe out as well. Dude, their guard is fire.
Card is great, man.
Now, when I look at the 2016 BlueCoats, something that's always been a bugbear of mine is there's certain moments of the show where they mark just wonderfully. There's other parts of the show where they're just marked like hot garbage.
Yeah, there are some moments where they're like trying to run and move. You know, the same can be said. I mean, I know the Bluecoats or Blue Devils. There's moments when I've seen people like out of step, and you know, it's just unfortunate.
The Blue Devils doesn't show as much so with black trousers, does it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, black pants.
Black pants.
Pants means something different over here. Dude, this flugelhorn player is just chef's kiss.
Yeah.
He's got such a beautiful tone.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about Shane and the wink and all that stuff, but this dude here was just nails.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Wow. Such a good tone, man.
So Shane, the trumpet soloist here, is actually a kid's Girl Scout one. He's an Irish fella. I think he lives in Texas now. And I can tell you, he was actually only 21. He looks like he's 37. Apparently there's somebody holding a sign by the camera to drink beer.
He's become infamous for that. Or famous.
Well, he did it off the cuff at semifinals.
Well, I didn't see semis. Maybe I missed it.
Yeah, so he did it off the cuff at semis. Everybody loved it so much that the camera crew was actually holding a sign and said, "Wink here."
Oh, that's cool. This is the start of height, man.
Yeah.
They only did it 2 years, though, because I think in 18... Well, that's not true. Santa Clara did height in 18 and 19.
That's right. This was the first year the trombones were allowed, isn't it?
No, trombones were allowed back in 14 or 12, I
Oh, was
think.
it 14, right?
Yeah, because no, I think it was back in 12 actually.
Scheherazade, yeah.
Yep, Scheherazade, great show. Man, we should watch that. It's a great show. Bluecoats footwork, man.
For those kids that are wondering, the little things is what helps you make a world-class drum corps. Look at their foot placement. And they stop. Everybody's banging at 45 every single time. It's the little things. It's the difference between making a world-class drum corps and not.
Yeah.
And it's the little things that are a difference between a champion and 12th place.
Yeah. Nice. That's so clean.
Yeah.
That backup technique was really good. They did kind of like a drag step.
Yeah, it is a bit of a, like, up of the toes drag step, I suppose. Ooh, gotta hold those lines when it never hit. Now that form, they hit that one and held it across 30 yards of the field in a dead run.
A lot of energy in this show. My God.
And that's the Bluecoats.
I'm tired of watching it. I'm just tired from watching it. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm tired.
That's the 2016 Bluecoats. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'll take back what I said at the beginning of the show, at the beginning of this episode. They did deserve to win. And I'll take it back, and I'll tell you the reason that they'll take it back, because I remembered. I haven't watched that show in probably 3 or 4 years, and I remembered every single note of that show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you want to look at the recaps?
Yeah, let's look at the recaps.
All right, I'll say this because Justin just had a massive cock up. We've actually just recorded this whole segment, and we're going to do it again because we just recorded this segment looking at the scores from semifinals. So looking at the recaps here. So Bluecoats won. GE won. They won GE2 and they won GE overall. Second place in GE went to, of course, the Blue Devils. Third down to Carolina Crown. Looking at visual. Now, this does go back to what I was saying, is I do think this was a third place visual performance, and I think that it was a rightfully third place visual performance. So visual performance is the downstairs visual judge. As Justin rightly mentioned, they have very good technique downstairs. But when you get to the upstairs bit, that's when you start analyzing content and what they're actually performing. They did miss the mark on a few occasions throughout the show, so I do think third is right there. First place in visual went to Blue Devils, which is probably not a big surprise. Blue Devils always do well in that particular caption. And then, of course, going over to music. Now, this is a little bit more interesting. They did win percussion. They were second in brass. First place in brass was, of course, Carolina Crown.
Look at that. Vanguard won.
Yeah.
Okay, they had a 19.
Vanguard won percussion. My apologies. Yeah, I was reading that wrong. My apologies.
By 0.15, yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow, look at this. Crown got 6th place in percussion and 5th place in percussion.
Percussion is their Achilles heel. Always has been. So,
I mean, overall, the score was 97.65 to 97.25, so 4 tenths.
Nothing in it.
And the tenths were GE. I mean, that's where they got them right here, 4 tenths in GE, right there.
Yep, that's where they won.
Which, I mean, like I said, to be fair to the Blue Devils, I need to watch that show. I need to watch that show again, and I will. Just so I can really, because I don't remember it, as much as this show, because this show, like you said, just had more memorable things, I guess, in it. But I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to watch the Blue Devil show and see like what the differences were from what I remember to what it is, and we'll see where it is. But I mean, innovation-wise,
one of the things I will say though,
one of the things
I will say though is having looked at 2 of the 3 shows we're going to look at though, is that you look at all of the cores that are in these top 12 categories, or really probably about the top 5. Yeah. I think that the BlueCoats are the only core of the top 5 that have stuck to the formula that they started in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Devils have messed around with lots of stuff. Vanguard messed around with lots of stuff stylistically. Crown has been up and down. Cavaliers have been in and out of top 5. Cadets sadly no longer with us, but even them, they messed around with a lot of stuff. So I find it interesting that they set this bar and they've kept setting the bar. It's easy to look at since then and say, well, they didn't win this year. Well, I actually think they were better than Boston this year. But I think Boston, it was determined that they were going to win. That's not to say that Boston this year wasn't a rightful champion. They were an absolute well-deserving champion. But I think that if you played those 2 shows to me again, back to me, I'd give it to BlueCoats every single time. So,
yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't, because I think Boston. I think they should have won with Glitch, to be honest, the year before.
Yeah, I think Glitch was really underrated.
But BlueCoats show was really good too. So it's like, it, and honestly, and that was 24, right? So BlueCoats were just, they put it all together. They put together that musical package with the audio, with the visual, and I think that's why they won. But I think Glitch, visually to me, was a much more innovative type show, and they even did some cool sound design too. So it's like apples, oranges, But
I think that for me, when you look at the BlueCoats, I think that if you were to, if I were to, I'll play this game with you real quick. 2 words to describe the BlueCoats. Go.
Ooh, 2 words. Sound innovation.
I would say controlled chaos. Ever since 2015, every one of their shows has been controlled chaos. And that controlled chaos is controlling sound innovation. It's controlling visual innovation. It's controlling design innovation. But it's been controlled chaos. BlueCoats shows always seem to me to be right on that edge of going over the edge, but never quite doing it. So
I don't, the Observer Effect show, I think they could have pushed it a little bit more. I don't think they reached that edge though. Like you said, like they normally reach. Like 24, they were pushing the edge. They were really pushing the edge. They were moving fast. They were doing stuff that was just kind of like, wow, mind-boggling.
That show was just nuts though.
But the Observer Effect to me, I think was safe. They did a lot of, they did a, and I don't mean safe in a bad way. I mean, I just don't think there was like some visual things I think they could have done with those cubes. They just didn't utilize them at all. They were on the field. They were kind of there, but
you've set up. Listen, mate, you've set up our outro perfectly because the toughest thing to do is to march in a drum corps the year after they win a championship, and that's what we're going to look at in the next video, which is of course 2017 BlueCoats and their show Jagged Line. But that'll be all for this show. Do us a favor. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much. If you're not a subscriber, you feel like helping us out, hit the subscribe button down below. We'd really appreciate it. Excuse me. I'll die off camera. Yeah. So until next time, no matter what you're doing, no matter when you're doing it, no matter who you're doing it with, no matter how you're doing it or where you're doing it, just when you're doing it, Justin,
march on.
Tell the people what to do.
You got to march on. Come on. You know what to do.
Got to march on.
We'll see you guys in the next one for part 3. Bye.